Hi guys, and welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment. I'm absolutely buzzing with the show that we've got for you guys tonight. We're joined by a very, very special guest, and that is, of course, Webby. Webby, thank you so much firstly for taking the time to come and talk to us. And how are you doing?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good. Obviously, not as disappointed with the weekend. Obviously, we'll go over that soon. But we've got to start doing something. And we've got to get back to the United way. You know, it was horrible on Saturday. It was like I said to you before. It was the worst I've seen since Everton away. And and that was poor. I've never leave a ground. Even when City was chancing 6-1 that day, I stayed till the death. But at Everton, I walked out, and it broke my heart doing it. But there's major things there. Who's to blame? Is the players to blame? Is the manager to blame? Is the owners to blame? It's ever-ending, and I've said it all along. The club's a mess. It needs to be sorted because we are the biggest club in the world, but we don't act like it. We're not playing like it. And I said the other day on Twitter, I'm just so glad I've seen doubles and trebles, because it could be a long time before we see anything like that. But we stick together. We back the manager. Hopefully the manager gets backed by the board.
Yeah, I agree. And like you say, it's an absolute mess, isn't it? It's hard to pinpoint one problem, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let's introduce the ladies, of course. I'm firstly joined by Nicole. Nicole, how are you doing?
I'm all right. It's Monday, innit? Just getting through until bedtime. Are you okay, Soph? You always ask us, are you okay?
I'm all right, thank you. For a Monday, I'm doing good. Talking to you a lot obviously cheers me up, of course. And guys, I'm going to shout out Webby and O'Neill because obviously this is Webby's channel. I'm going to say now, please go and subscribe to that. Some fantastic content there with some amazing guests, and we're going to delve into some of those in a minute. But yeah, go and subscribe to Webby's channel, definitely. Meg, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer and be like, oh, but I'm in a reflective mood, and you can probably, if you go on Twitter, you'll also understand probably why. But yeah, I'm okay, but I'm not my usual self because of X, Y, and Z that has happened. But being on here makes me happy, and if it makes me happy, I'm going to continue to do it. I don't care if it doesn't make you happy. It makes me happy. So on that note, hi.
And to be fair, Meg, what I will say is you make a lot of people in the chat happy as well. I'll add that on there. There's a lot of positives. Do not focus on the trolls.
Oh, yeah.
We always say. Focus on the positives. Emma, last but not least, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I like echoing what Nicole said. It's Monday. I'm tired from work, struggling through till bedtime. But no, I'm all good, and I'm excited for Ladies in Red as usual.
Yeah, same here. And like I say, a fantastic guest. Now, Webby, I hope you don't mind me talking about obviously what I know you've done as a career for a while. But you were involved in the security aspect of United. Did you say from 1994? Did you say?
I did 1994 till 2000 in the 2000 season. Great times.
Well, so I'm guessing you've met a lot of important people, a lot of well-known people throughout your time.
Yeah,
who would you say then?
Go on.
Who would you say was? No, it's all right. Who's your standout person? Do you have one person where I don't know, something magical happened, or have you ever been starstruck by someone that you've worked with?
Not really starstruck because I look at them as friends. Obviously, I'm quite close to the lads now, obviously, who I work for. I don't look at them as ex-United players, ex-internationals, treble winners, double winners. I look at them as friends, and they class me as a friend, and that's why, obviously, I do a lot of work for them because I never mithered them, never asked for anything. There was just people who I work for. But I'd say one of the most starstruck moments was probably when I always remember the year 1996 when we won the double. We won at Middlesbrough, and the Monday we was at a big do at the Midland, and all the boys were there with a tuxedo on, and there comes Eric, just comes in with a pair of jeans on and a shirt. It was just being in the room, and all the players was looking at him and to say, the manager's going to come in a minute. He's going to go hit the roof. He walked in, shook Eric's hand, and then had a go at Dennis Irwin because his top button wasn't done. Just to be there, it was just a surreal moment, you know what I mean? And I remember Dennis saying to someone, it might have been Lee Sharp, how come he get away with that? And the manager come back and he said, if you played football like him, you could wear a bikini at night. And that was the order Eric had. You know what I mean? And I was with him the other year and we talked about the old stuff. But when you was in a room with Eric, you listened. He was a presence, and he was a great bloke as well. So I'd have to say being in the presence of Eric Cantona was a great moment.
I can only imagine.
Go on,
I absolutely know I love Eric. He is my all-time favourite player, and just hearing stories about him just makes me smile because the impact he made on Manchester United when he first joined was phenomenal, and I just forever watch his highlights and bits because he's just fantastic.
He's not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. He's such a character, like you said. I can imagine he being that guy that everybody in the room wants to listen to. Everybody wants to be around, and I bet he's got some mad stories as well. And I just see he's got always the centre of attention, isn't he?
There's some stories I'd love to tell you on this show, ladies, but it's before watersheds and we'd probably get closed down. But Eric was just a presence, you know. He changed our football club because at the time we was no nearer winning the league than we was for the previous 25 years. But he just brought that something out within the crowd, within the football club, within the players he played with. He made them better players. And I was so disappointed when he retired because obviously he was only 30, 31. He still had years left in him, but he decided time was right. And the club was a lesser place for a few years, but what a man, Cantona.
Wow, that's mad. Like, if I could sit there and say I'd met Eric Cantona, then yeah, I couldn't imagine that situation. It's crazy. Adam, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, hi ladies and Webby lad, hope you're all good. What did you think about Patrice Evra's video? I don't know if you girls have seen it. Have you seen the video, Webby?
Which video is this? Is not the one with about Moises' daughter, is it? Or is it the one about when he's up
No.
at 2 o'clock in the morning?
No, not that one.
Not that one. I think he had to shut up about that one. I think he was told to push on that one. But yeah, he was talking obviously about the owners, talking about how he's not going to do his normal happy Monday. I love the same video.
They've broken the man who loves this game. They've broken him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've not seen the video. I've heard about it. He's a red like us all. You know, he gets disappointed when we don't win. You know, it's an hard one, you know, because Patrice was a great player. He loved the club. Disappointed that he left. The same as like Vidic when he left, when they both should have stayed for another couple of years. But that's another story, you know. But Evra hurts as much as us, and he was hurting as much as us on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. It's, you know what I'm saying? It was just a bad day at the office.
Definitely. Big up to Saeed, obviously, in the chat as well. Go and subscribe to United Central. So big up to the girls. Good to see Webby on. Can you help me believe in Ollie? You always keep it real. What is your thoughts on Ollie? Obviously, there's a big debate, Ollie in, Ollie out. I'm sick of seeing fans falling out on Twitter after one game. I saw Meg tweet that as well, and I felt exactly the same way. But are you Ollie out or Ollie in at this point in time? Where would you say you are?
Me, I'm Ollie in. It's just what's got me as well regarding the interview Luke Shaw did. I don't know if any of you seen it, about he's come out to TV2 in Norway to say that we need players, the squad's not good enough and strong enough. So that's telling me the manager's put him there and he's giving him a bit of a shove, because obviously Ollie can't come out and say what we need. He don't upset the owners. Very strange. Never seen that done before in watching United since the early 70s. He's saying what we all know. I'm Ollie in. Whoever manages Manchester United Football Club, I back him. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we're quite lucky. We spoke about that before in today's video. We're the club what have never really got to try and hound a manager out. You know, I've seen some terrible football at United under Doherty, under Sexton. It was horrible to watch, but we never shout at the manager. You know, you see these other clubs putting banners up after the stuff they've done. You look at the Wenger stuff at Arsenal, which was a disgrace in my eyes. So I'm Ollie in until the day leaves United, and obviously he's coming in an hard position. We had a lot of players there who didn't want to be at the club. You know, you look at the scenario, Lukaku on the bike in Australia. And imagine if that would have been under Fergie. He would have made his bike all the way home from Australia. You know, it was just poor. And he's done. There was a lot of bad blood at United, but he couldn't get them all out at once, and he's gradually getting them out bit by bit. So I'm right behind Ollie. But the question is he the man to take us to the next level? Is he the man to be challenging Bayern Munich, Real Madrid? Is he the manager to be challenging Man City and Liverpool? I hope he is. I really hope he is, and I'll back him 100%.
Yeah, I think us girls are all Ollie in as well, I believe, aren't we, girls, still? I definitely am.
100%.
I agree with you. I think the problems aren't just Ollie. I think if you change the manager now, you're not going to get rid of the problem. We've seen that already happen. Ollie has got us back on the right path in terms of getting Deadwood out. There's a certain profile of player he's looking for. It needs backing, and we all know that. It's no secret. It needs backing. But it's like if we got Sancho in, for example, just Sancho on his own, you're telling me that's going to drastically improve that performance at the weekend. I don't think it's going to be a simple fix like that. It's not a simple fix like that, is it?
No, not at all. I think, like, for me, I'm still Ollie in, and I will 100% back a manager if he is managing our football team. I think if you, and as a player, and I would, like, who, regardless of who my manager is, I would respect them. And I feel like, as a fan, I still respect Ollie. He hasn't lost my respect. Did he get it wrong at the weekend? Yes. But did his players also let him down? Yes. He got the tactics wrong, but you cannot just sit here and say it was all Ollie's fault. Those players have set standards for themselves, and they didn't reach those standards at the weekend at all. They weren't as sharp as they should be, and that's not just because they haven't had a pre-season and perhaps what Ollie's done in pre-season. That's down to mentality of your own ability and being able to bring that to a game. So for me, still Ollie in, and just going back to the Evra video, I have seen it, and for me, to see an actual ex-player, and I think Ferdinand does it as well, and Neville at times. I know Neville's more probably a little bit more subdued now because he's on Sky Sports and he talks about all of the clubs, but like to see Patrice Evra still have that desire and passion for Manchester United to come out and break that stereotypical social media talk. Fair play to him.
Yeah, Emma, what's your thoughts? I mean, Ollie in, Ollie out, where do you stand right now? And also on the Evra video, what did you think about that?
I'm 100% Ollie in. You know, we have to back our manager. No matter who it is, you have to back our manager. Things are not going to change. You know, we can back our manager now and, you know, we'll get a new manager in. It'll be all high spirits for a few months and then it'll go back to normal where the new manager's pushing the board for transfers. He doesn't get transfers. The fans are, you know, getting distressed. We're angry. We're annoyed. We're not getting anywhere. The board are just papering over the cracks by trying to replace managers to take the heat off them. Basically, that's what it is. Ollie can't do right for doing wrong at the moment. You know, going into the game, our first game of the season, yeah, he had some kind of selection wrongs, as people were saying. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he went to Dubai with the club's advice of not going because he has to isolate. So therefore, he has to train separately. He's had to isolate for 2 weeks. Greenwood in the same situation in Iceland with those girls in the hotel room. He's had to come back. He's had to isolate, so he can't train with the other players. So how are we meant to gel? You know, I know all the other players were not match fit. You know, Pogba, you just recovering from coronavirus. I think that's the only selection I think I would have to criticise Ollie on is because Van der Beek should have replaced him because I don't think Pogba was fit. But apart from that, what more could have Ollie done? The Evra situation, I mean, it's just sad. It's just sad, isn't it, that ex-players have to come out and do videos to speak about the club that they love and how disheartened they are of how far it's gotten to this point where, you know, they have to talk about it. You know, you don't normally see players come out and have to talk about it, but we've seen Rio, we've seen Patrice Evra. It's like, how many more ex-players are going to have to come out to show the board, like, this is not right, something needs to be done?
Something definitely needs to change, 100%. I completely agree. Someone just mentioned this as well quickly. Dan James obviously has been linked today with a move to Leeds. Nicole, I'm going to ask you what your thoughts is on Dan James, because obviously we've all defended him in this chat. We know that he's got to improve, but how do you think about that? Obviously, he's so close, wasn't he, to joining Leeds just before he came to United. Do you think this is a possibility for him?
The thing is, I think it's down to him really. Like, I've defended James, and I'm still not going to jump on his back like everyone else. He's not a starter for me, but it's not his fault that Ollie's choosing him to start. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's ready to be a first-team player every game. I don't think that at all. We know his attributes. We know where he needs to improve. I don't know. I think it's down to the player himself and where his commitments lie, and if he's got that drive and that fight, really.
Webby, what do you think about Dan James?
Get him out.
Yeah, Dan James, do you rate him?
To be honest, obviously when we signed him, I'd seen a bit of him, especially that City game for Swansea in the Cup. He looked on fire. Obviously, he started on fire for United and it dried him up. But for me, and it's no disrespect to Dan James, if we want to start dining at the top of English football, we can't be starting with Dan James. What does he need to do? I think if we got enough, we get to say we got a right-sided player in, I'd send him out anywhere. Premiership, Championship on loan. The thing is with James, he was playing one match, he didn't play for 4. It's no good for anybody. He needs a run of consistent games. You know, he's a starter under Ryan for Wales, and rightly so. He's a star man there. But, you know, at United, Dan James, should he start? No. Is he good to come on? Yeah, when defenders are getting tired. But for me, if we get a right-sided player in, that's a big if. I'd look to send him out on loan where he's going to play week in, week out, and it'll only benefit the lad and benefit Manchester United Football Club in the long run.
Yeah, Jackie said
I
that as
agree.
well. I think it's too soon for me to just sell him up and sell him. I think he's talented. Like you say, his pace, I think, can be scary, especially as a player on the counter-attack. He's definitely got to improve, but like you mentioned, he needs game time. It's hard to get... We saw it with Fred. When Fred got a run of games, I felt we got the best out of him, to be fair. And then he went back to being a bit part player again, and it's hard to get that momentum. So a lone game, getting obviously a run of games, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. But like you say, it all depends on whether we get someone on that right-hand side, and we all know who we're looking at, but whether that gets across the line is a different story. But, I mean...
Don't mention the S word, so...
Okay. Oh, well. In terms of United, this season going forward, I mean, we've seen us play one game, of course, playing again tomorrow. And what is your realistic expectation for us, Webby? Where do you think we'll finish?
I'd like to, you know, looking at it, girls, it's like when we come third, when we beat Leicester, we come third. It was beyond our dreams. If you look at Christmas, before lockdown, only points were behind Leicester. We would have. If someone said to me before we kicked that first ball after lockdown, I'll give you third, you'd bite your hands off. So that was then for the board to say, right, listen, let's close that gap of 33 points. Not going to say we're going to win the league, but let's close that to say 10 points. And then we go again the next season with more additions. Now, for me, the club haven't backed the manager. They've not backed the club, you know. I really, really fear for us if we don't get anybody in and we're not seeded in the Champions League, and we could draw Bayern Munich. We could draw a big boy, and I really, really feel for us. So it's down to the club now whether this weekend is going to help the manager to get people in. You know, even if we would have won 5-0 on Saturday, we still need bodies in. We still need 2 or 3. We know the positions what we need in. But hand on heart, if we don't get anyone in, I think we'll struggle. I think 5th or 6th, and I'm being kind. You know, we need players in. We need a centre half. We need a full back. We need somebody on the right-hand side. You know, it's hard. I think United honestly thought with this coronavirus that was going to get players in cheap because clubs were struggling, you know, but it's not worked out that way. You look what Chelsea's done. You look what Liverpool's done at the weekend. Like I said before, I fancied City to win the league. They brought in 2. They probably brought in one of the best playmakers in world football in Thiago for 25 million. You know, it's frightening. You know, did we ever bid for him? You know, did we ever bid for him? There was talk that we'd bid for him, but let's have it right. We're a mess our clubs at the moment. You know, who's really going to want to sign for us? And it hurts me saying it.
It's true. It is true, and it's horrible to say that, isn't it? Meg, realistically, I mean, obviously we had our show. We were all so positive. we're all going into the season so positive, and then after seeing that, it kind of puts perspective on it, doesn't it? Like, and to be honest, I think since the Southampton game, we didn't play well last season. Since that Southampton game after lockdown, they kind of sussed us out, and I think since that point, we haven't played well. To be totally honest, we scraped a few results, got lucky, conceded a lot of goals as well. Obviously, Bournemouth game stands out, but yeah. After this Palace game, Meg, how optimistic are you for the season ahead?
I'm not going to judge after just one game of the new season. I'm not going to, you know, throw my toys out the pram and be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm turning on the club, as someone tried to tell me I was earlier. But what I don't want to see also is I don't want to see us just dropping points. And no disrespect to Palace, because they've obviously come out and beat us. But at the start of the season, you must look at certain games and you say, okay, out of these teams, these are the ones that we expect to be getting 3 points out. If you look at the 2 teams on paper, those Palace players wouldn't get into our team. So therefore, for me, we should be winning those games. I don't want to then be saying, we'll look at that and be like, we'll have lost that game, but then we're going to turn it on for like a Man City game or a Liverpool game. And it's the consistency for me that is key, because we need to be getting points across every single game, not dropping silly points against the teams like Palace. I'm still optimistic, so I'm not gonna lose that. Do I think that teams have come out and probably showcased what they are about? Everyone said prior to the season, Everton, they've come out and they've lived up to that. They've lived up to that expectation already. I know we're only 2 games. They've played 2 games. They've got 6 points. Everton are 6 points ahead of us. I know we've got a game in hand, but right now, you look at that table, they're 6 points ahead of us. So it's going to be a long season. We've got a lot of games to play. We've got obviously Champions League to play as well and cup competitions. But I'm still going to say, and I'll, if I'm completely wrong, I'm completely wrong. But I would like to think that Manchester United would turn this around and actually address the problems that we have got, sign the players that we need, not just one that we need, and then hopefully be pushing up further up the table.
Yeah, love that. This is a really good question, actually, and it's from Webby. It says, it's from Diego. If you had the chance to do the team talk before the cup tie against Luton, how would you lift the players? So it's kind of like, what's your managerial style? Would you be one of these who bollocks the players, go mad at them? I mean, if you're a player going into that game, how are you confident going into it after the way that we played against Palace? And do you think, my main question I'm going to say is, do you think they'll play a strong team? And how will you get them up for it, I guess, is what the question is. Go on, Webby.
I don't know if you can
Can you hear me, Webby? I think it's frozen. Go on then, Nick. How would you, if you were
Me?
the manager? Yeah. If you were Ollie,
Oh my God.
would you start a strong team? Would you go, because obviously if we didn't play well, I still think we need the fitness. Would you go for a strong team tomorrow?
Well, I think he already said that he's going to rotate, but then the problem is we can't really rotate that much because we keep talking about the depth. But it's a hard one. I think you can't just treat it like it's disposable, like, oh, it's just a cup, we don't care, especially not after the weekend. So you want to treat it with respect, but then at the same time, if he put his first 11 out and then someone got injured, we'd riot. So I think it's just getting that balance, getting the balance right and having the experience in there, but maybe giving youth a chance. A mixture of both. And in terms of the team talk,
can you still hear me, girls?
We can hear you now.
Can you hear us, Webby? I think he's really delayed. I tell you what, you carry on, Nick. I'll try and sort it.
What am I saying?
In the balance in the lineup.
Oh right, yeah. So it's about getting that balance right. And in terms of Ole's team talk, I think people misunderestimate him and think he's Mr. Nice. I don't think he is at all. When we seen how devastated you looked the other day, I think them players knew what was coming afterwards. So I don't think he needs any advice in that area. He's still my manager until the day that he isn't. So
someone just said a comment. Someone just mentioned Menge, and this is the point that I was going to make. I would start Menge tomorrow night because you know what, Lindelof.
I'm struggling there, girls. You keep disappearing.
Oh, bless you.
Oh no!
Carry on now. I'll add you.
I would Lindelof. He's just for me. He got bullied at the weekend, bullied by Saha. You know, Saha is not a very strong striker, but he got bullied. He was weak, and I don't like to be disrespectful about a player, but something's got to give. And I think maybe putting Menge in tomorrow's game might give him a kick up the bum that he needs. And Menge, to me, yes, he's young, but he is strong. He is hungry. And I definitely want to see him play. So I would definitely start with Menge instead of Lindelof because at the moment I just can't rate Lindelof. He's just too weak at the back.
Who would you start in goal?
Oh, Meg.
I'm asking so I don't have to answer.
I don't know if it's
hard. You know what? I think De Gea did very good at the weekend. You know, he made that quality save with the penalty. Unlucky that it got retaken and Zaha
don't get me started on that.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But do you know what? I think he did okay. I think the thing is the front line for him, the defence. What can he do if they're making stupid mistakes and then it falls back on him? I don't think it would have mattered if Henderson or De Gea was in goal at the weekend. I think we still would have lost because our defence was woeful, absolutely shocking.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are saying that Henderson is already starting, he's been told.
Yeah, that's what I read. I was going to say, I wouldn't say it in the respect of dropping dropping Dave, because I'm not saying it is like he should be dropped for Premier League games, but I think games like tomorrow, if you bring in Henderson back in and he's on the contract that he's on, games like tomorrow is where he should get his opportunity, and that is not dependent on Dave's performance for me. Like, I agree with Emma completely. I don't think there's that much more he could have really done. It's like getting blood from a stone, but I don't think playing Hendo tomorrow is of detriment to De Gea, if you know what I mean, so long as De Gea starts all league games.
Yeah, Webby, are you back with us?
I'm back. It looks like I'm back. Yeah.
Real.
I don't know. What
said like Houdini here keeps disappearing. He's back with us.
Yeah, just obviously going on to that Luton game tomorrow. Hard game, you know. I watched a bit of them to beat Derby County on Saturday 2-1. The kid Nathan Jones, he's back there after the disastrous managerial spell at Stoke. Seems to have gotten playing. I'd like to see Ted Mengi play tomorrow. I think he could be the answer to our problems at the back. He's strong, he's quick, he won't get knocked off the ball like it happened to Lindelof for the first
It's solid.
goal. So I'd play the kid, you know, there's no point. Some of these young kids in the reserves are too good for the reserves, hence why they've gone out on loan. Now, if you're not going to send them out on loan, they're cheating themselves playing in these reserves. That's all it is, because it's too good for him. Now, Ted Menga and Ethan Laird, they're good enough to come into the squad. You know, how many times over the years have we let players go and it's come back to haunt us because we've not given them that chance? I'd play them both on tomorrow night, you know, and see how they do. And if they don't, let's send them out on loan. You know what I mean? A couple of boys have gone out on loan. So let's give them a chance tomorrow. I'd play Henderson, and that's nothing against De Gea. I'd give, obviously, Fred, who I felt's been treated pretty badly, because before lockdown, when we had all the injuries, I thought he stood up and was counted for. You know, and he seemed to have been, obviously, played the first game. I'm a big fan of Matic, me. I think every time we play Matic, we've got a chance of winning. Now, I don't know why he wasn't in the squad on Saturday. Whether he's injured, I'm not sure. But
was he quarantining? I'm pretty sure he was in quarantine or something. Yeah. I'm sure I read that,
Well, if you look at with Matic, he got bombed out. Obviously, he didn't like he was going to play another game under Ole. You know, when he come on in the derby when we was 3-0 down at Old Trafford, we lost the game 3-1. He scored at the Etihad, and we went on a run then when we didn't lose a game. I'm not just saying it's all out on Matic, but he's so calm on the ball. He makes us a better team. You know, and I can see that now. Obviously, the manager's seen it and brought him back in. So I'd like Matic to play, if possible, tomorrow, because he needs game time.
Yeah, I think Matic gives us that balance. He's disciplined enough to sit in that holding role. He keeps it simple, but he keeps the game ticking. That's what you want from your CDM. I know he's not getting any younger. I get that. But at the moment, I think he complements Pogba and Bruno perfectly. He allows them to play. And I think against Palace in particular at the weekend, we look so open through that midfield. We already mentioned defensively how vulnerable we are. But we never had that game under control. And I genuinely feel if we had Matic in there, then we would have had more control in that game. And we've got a super chat here. Thank you so much. He said, I didn't see the game. Were the players tired? Not that often we concede 3 goals versus a bottom 10 side. Nicole, would you say we were tired? I don't think we can even give us that excuse. To be honest, I thought we were crap. I know we haven't had a preparation that was ideal. I get that. But we just didn't turn up, did we?
I think I'm not saying they're not tired, but I think that's a bit of an excuse, because for me it was just a poor performance all round. I don't like saying negative things, but that's how it is. One of the worst games at Old Trafford. Not actually at Old Trafford, obviously, but one of the worst games at Old Trafford I've seen in terms of effort and performance and spirit, and just there
was just nothing there. Meg, did you see the game? What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was out and I was still watching the game to make sure it ruined my evening. But yeah, I think that's a pretty piss poor excuse, if I'm really honest. I think players are tired, okay, but imagine if you were a doctor and you were like, yeah, I was tired, and you fucked it up. Like, I know that's a pretty extreme thing to comparison, and it's not exactly the same, but you can't just be like, oh, I was tired, sorry. Well, if you're tired, you need to get preparation needs to be better. So it's not you're tired that's the excuse. The fact that your preparation was piss poor. The players just didn't show up. For me, we just, like I've said, we have standards. The players have set their own standards, because we've all seen them perform better than that. They didn't hit those standards, and that's not just because they were tired. But I just think the play was sloppy. We looked weak. So yeah, I'm just not going to say that we were tired. I'm not having that as an excuse.
I can't believe Doug's just put the S word into the super chat. Thank you so much, Doug. We appreciate it. Make sure you go and subscribe to Doug X channel as well. He's getting over a K on some of his videos now, which is fantastic. So keep doing it, Doug. Keep working.
Well done, Doug.
It says, with Manchester United prioritising Sancho deal to happen, are you all surprised Ollie is not looking for a centre-back in the window? Webby, after seeing that Lindelof performance, do you think we should be looking at another centre-back?
Going back to last season, I thought Lindelof played well and didn't get enough credit. And in the Seville game, he was all over the place and he seemed not to recover from that. And he was getting pushed off the ball too easy, you know. I don't know. Do you know what? I'm a big fan of Chris Smalling. Now people can shout me down, you know. He's got pace. He's been bombed out of the club. I don't like the way he's been treated, but that's my thing. He's training with on his own. You know, if he's there, we're paying his wages, using him. That's what we lack in the centre, pace. He's got abundance of pace. I watched him last year at Roma, getting man of the match every week. Now I know the Italian league's not like the Premier League. You can stroll her out, but when it come to push, then Smalling was a man for Roma. Now I think he will end up going over there, and I'd be upset that he's going to leave. But centre half, we've got, well, I give Ted and Mengi a go. You know, you look at Tu and Zabe, the kid's not had much luck with Indra. He can do a job there, but we do need to get this centre half because, like one of you said before, Brighton, that the kid up front who scored the goals at Newcastle, he's got pace for fun. And that will hurt us, and they'll look at that and say, let's run at him, we can't handle pace. You know, and we've got to get it right on a Saturday morning. Very predictable. Yeah. We've got to get it right because you look at it, we get beat there, the pressure's right on the lane. It's unfair in a way, but you manage Manchester United, that's a pressure full stop. So we've got to get it sorted. Will it happen before Saturday? I don't think so. So let's play men again, let's see how he looks, and if he's good enough, he stays in the team alongside Maguire.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I even mentioned the Smalling point. I had Ricky on. I know you know Ricky. I had Ricky on the show, and we were talking about Chris Smalling, and we both said that if we're not going to sign a centre back, we'd possibly bring him back. I think we'd need more defenders there. To be fair, I know we've got obviously some youth coming through. To and Zabi, you mentioned he's injury prone. I just don't fully trust Lindelof and Maguire as that partnership. I really don't, and I think Saturday was evident that we can't. If we're gonna, like you say, go to the next level. Can't be making mistakes like that, and it's just piss poor defending. If I'm honest, it's absolutely shocking. Thank you again for the super chat. Nice little compliment for you here, Meg. By the way, cheers to you, Meg, for replying to my comment. I'd hire you as a TV presenter in a heartbeat if I owned Sky Sports. So informative.
Thank you. I feel like after today, that little comment might have been needed because apparently some people don't agree with you. But yeah, thank you very much for the comment. And Soph always mentions it, like, anybody who is in the chat and you leave a question or a comment or we don't read it out, we do go back to check. So if anybody
leave it in the comments,
we do miss you. I was going to say, if we do miss you, we do go back.
Yeah, we do. Definitely double check it all the time. But it's nice to have positives because today, I don't know if you've seen it, Webby, but you know, it's like Troll Monday. Lots of trolls come out on Twitter, throwing a bit of abuse at the ladies, at myself. I mean, what's your thoughts on, it sounds like a stupid question here, but women talking about football in general, do you get the toxicity in the comments we get?
Just ignore them, you know, they're just pathetic people who live in a pathetic world, you know your stuff. Fair play to you, you know. You don't believe how many trolls I get. I had about 13 accounts with my name on the other year, and I just laugh at them. So don't let it worry you, you know. They're sitting behind the keyboards now, getting ready for school tomorrow. The mum just took them into bed, so don't let it worry you. Just crack on. You're doing a great job. So just forget about them. I know it's hard sometimes because it does hit a spot sometimes, you know what I mean? But forget about them. Little kids on keyboards. Bedtime now.
Yeah, Amy summed it up there. That is my answer as well. But yeah, I just, like you say, I think it's one of them situations where you just don't rise to it. You just focus on the positives. There's obviously plenty of people in chat here, plenty of people on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, supporting. And I think you focus on the people who are supporting, definitely. But I'm hearing, Webby, I've been told to ask you this actually. There's an interesting story behind the idea for your channel, Webby O'Neill. Is that right?
Go on, tell what you've heard and I'll tell you if it's right. Go on.
No, I've been told to ask you. Oh,
right, sorry. No, all it was, obviously, me and Tony go back 70s, 80s, 90s, travelling away together. We've had some laughs. You know, me and Tony have got over, 90 years, probably more of watching United between us, you know what I mean? We're that old now. And we just said, listen, let's get together. We're like two lads in the pub having a pint, speaking about the match, nothing too serious. And it was just to get over lockdown, to be honest. You know, we both had a bit of spare time on our hands and we thought, let's get together. We enjoy it. We're not doing it to upset anybody or to make millions of pounds. We're just like, put us in a pub with 2 pints and be the same, you know. So long may it continue. You know, we've had some great guests on. You know, we've got more to come in the following months. You know, it's lucky that I do know these lads personally, and they agree to do it. You know, I won't tell you one, but we've hopefully got a massive one coming out in a couple of months, which will just blow it all out of the water. So fingers crossed it happens, and we continue on this journey. Like you're saying, we're just United fans, just getting off our chest what we do in the pub.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it, Rebecca. I love it.
I do.
Thank you.
I
your
always
channel. Yeah, it's just so interesting, like you said, the guests you got in there. But I love the relationship between you and Tony. Obviously, I know Tony as well, and the way you bounce off each other.
We've got calls. We got calls Stadler and Waldorf the other week. We've been called a lot of things, but me and Tony, we've been mates for years, and we just have a laugh. You know, that's what it's all about. We get upset when we get beat. We're happy when we win. So we'll just keep going on and see where it takes us.
Yeah, I agree. Right, I've got a bit of a twist. The girls didn't even know I was doing this one. I've chucked it in. It's a bit of a random, kind of like a head v head. So I'm going to give you 2 players, and you're going to choose one of the 2 players. And they're going to be quite tough, I will say that, but I'm going to give everybody a chance. So for the first one, because it's 2 centre backs, I'm going to ask Meg to choose between these 2. She didn't know this, by the way.
If you put these 2 names at me, I'm going to be really cross with you.
So Vidic, Rio Ferdinand.
Oh, you can't do that.
I can't make.
I'm going.
That's her part of it.
I think my connection's interrupted. Just 1 second. No.
Don't do a Webby. Don't do a Webby on us.
It's honestly so difficult because I absolutely love them both. If you've watched the shows, you'll know that these pair are my favourite duo to be at Manchester United. But I think I would have to agree with you've just changed it. The chants that were coming in. I'm gonna.
Wow.
Oh no, I don't know. I was gonna say Ferdinand.
I know what you're gonna say.
I loved the fact that Vidic he was just rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just did not flinch at anybody. But I just loved Ferdinand as well. I don't know.
So
don't come to me with that.
So hard.
I can't pick.
So
I
hard.
love them both.
Nicole, what you reckon?
Oh, Jesus. The thing is you think one, but then you think, but no, I can't not say the other one. Ferdinand is real Ferdinand, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? But then Vidic, you know, when you see that video when he was doing his goodbye speech and everyone's going, no, man, oh my God, it gives me tingles every time. So I'm going to say Rio Vidic. I can't pick.
I would actually say right now, I would take either of them back. So I'm not picking. I'd probably take either of them right now to come back to Manchester United and play for us right now because I absolutely just love the style of them.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
it's like me asking you to pick between Ant and Deck. Someone
just put in the chat. I think they said Vidic and Maguire or Rio and Maguire, and it just looked totally wrong. It looked so wrong. No. Reese, thank you for the super chat. It says it doesn't matter about your sexual orientation, your gender, your race, or your religion. If you make an opinion, you're entitled to said opinion. Don't hurl abuse. I completely agree. Nail on the head, Reese, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Vidic is such a hard choice, isn't it? If it was me, just about, and it's tough, I'd probably say Rio because Rio was a very good footballer as well as defender. I think a very good all-around football player. So he just edges it for me, but it's a really difficult one. I mean, Emma, can you choose from the 2?
I mean, it's very hard and it's very, very close. I mean, where's our Rio and Vidic in our team right now? You know, we've got Maguire and Lindelof. They're so weak, they get bullied off the ball. But then we had ex-players like Rio and Vidic. Vidic, I think probably not just it for me because he was an absolute madman. He would run into people, did not care, blood on his face. And you know what? strikers were scared of him. You know, they're scared to approach him. And I think that's what we're missing in our team right now. Strikers are not scared to approach Lindelof. We got bullied off the ball by Saha, for Christ's sake. So, do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So, for me, it's Vidic.
Yeah. It's a hard one. Webby, can you choose from the two?
Rio all day long, you know. I picked the best 11 United players from what I've watched live, and I put him alongside a great centre-half called Martin Buchan, who was class. Nothing against Vidic, you know, he was a monster at times, you know. I remember Wes Brown telling me a story about him cutting his head open at training, and he just like wiped his head, and he think he needed 19 stitches after training. He wanted to carry on. That was a man himself. But Rio was class, you know. He was like a Rolls Royce coming out of the back. You know, we didn't have anyone like that. We've never replaced a footballing centre-half. And Rio was just... It was just top class. It's Rio all day for me.
I agree. I completely agree. The next one, still a defender, but we're going for a left back. Well, we've got Irwin or Patrice Evra. They're the two that I'm giving.
Bagsy not going first.
I'll go first.
I'll go on Webby.
Go on, Webby.
Dennis
Special guest, you go first.
Dennis Irwin, absolute 8 or 9 out of 10 every week, whether it was left back or right back. 650 grand from Leeds United. From Oldham, sorry. Absolute great player. Left the club too early for me. I remember him when we let him go and he signed for Wolverhampton and he come back to Old Trafford and had Ronaldo in his pocket all game. You know, the bloke was class, could score goals. His free kicks. We've not had a free kick taker. Free kick, corners, penalties.
Yeah.
Never gave the winger an inch, whether he played right back or left back. And for the money we paid for him off Oldham, 625 grand, a right steal. Now, it's nothing against Evra, but Dennis Irwin, Mr. Consistent, 8 or 9 out of 10 every single game. Never seen him have a bad game for United.
I have to agree with that one, definitely. Girls, is this a unanimous one? Are we all saying Irwin?
Yeah, it's an all-rounder one. But as Gaynor said, Mr. Consistency, Webby said it was Mr. Consistent. It like...
He's Mr. Reliable. He's Mr. Reliable, isn't he? You know, he's not just a great left back, right back. Like Webby said, he could take free kicks, his penalties. He was just an all-round great left back. Absolutely, I've always praised him and could constantly just tweet about him because I think he is a player that I wouldn't say underrated, but often went underrated because he was such a good player, and I think he deserved more acknowledgement for how he played than what he got. But he's an absolute man for me.
Yeah, Meg is shaking her head, so Meg's going to oppose this one. So I'm guessing you're going to say Evra, Meg.
I am going to go for Evra. I feel like perhaps it's more like a generational thing that I remember more about Evra than I do with Irwin. But for me, I think Evra was that modern day fullback. Like, you know, when the Premier League started to change and he brought the pace and he brought passion to that left back role and he brought like that attacking style as well. Like the pace on Evra was ridiculous. But for me, I think perhaps maybe it's just more generational that I just think Evra over Irwin. But that, like everyone has said, he was so Irwin was so consistent. But for me, Evra kind of changed that left back role.
Yeah.
Talking of Evra, just quick to give him credit, not just on the pitch, but I remember when he said he came to United, he delved right into like the history books and he wanted to know about what this club means and its roots, and not just putting a shirt on and being like, wait, do you know what I mean? And I think even still to this day, you see what the club means to him because I think he gets it.
Yeah, he does.
He really gets it.
Definitely. Yeah, he's just such a likeable guy, isn't he? Like you say off the pitch, he's just such a likeable guy. But the last one, I mean, you're all going to know my answer to this one, but I want to throw it out there. And it's Paul Scholes
or
Roy Keane. Yeah, Paul Scholes or Roy Keane. This is a tough one. I mean, it is. Even for me, it's a tough one. But do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tough one. Do you know what, though? I'm going to go with Keane because I like those kind of plays. You know, Eric Cantona was my favourite player. Keane was a bit like Eric Cantona, feisty, passion, the angriness. I like the angriness of a player, and we have not got that in our team right now. So, yeah, Keane for me, I love that angry passion, take no shit nonsense. You know, we've seen it in the tunnel, we've seen it on the pitch. Absolutely amazing.
There you go. Meg, what's your vote on that one? Keane or Scholes?
I'm going to go Scholes. I love the fact that Keane was that player that you didn't want to mess with. And if I could have given his attitude to Paul Scholes. But for me, Scholes was just unreal. Like some of the goals, I was watching his Premier League goals the other day on Sky Sports. Like the goals that he scored, you should go like he's put that right in the corner or he's hit that. He just popped up with a goal at times. And I just loved him. I just loved the style of play. And I loved the fact that he couldn't tackle. I just loved the fact that he could not tackle.
I'm modding my game on Paul Scholes. Mega votes for this one, definitely. Yeah. The tackling is not the strength for me, definitely not. But yeah, you all know Paul Scholes is my answer anyway. But Webby, Scholes or Keano?
Both friends. I was going to say Keano till he shouted at me the other week because I made his bovril too hot. No, both different players. That's probably the hardest question you probably said. I'd go for Scholes just because you look at some of the goals he scored, but there again, you can look at Keano, how he dragged us through games. You look at the semi-final in Turin when he got booked. He could have easily threw his dummy out. He got us to go back into the game, drove the team on. Can't go 50-50.
Keano's going to shout at you again, Webby.
Go on, a friend. I think.
No, I'd go deep down. I'd go Scholesy, but only by a little bit.
I think this, by Jackie, sums it up. Scholes for his footballing genius and then Keano for his leadership. I think you mentioned they were different players. And I completely agree with that.
Imagine them putting them both together.
Exactly.
Priceless.
Yeah, I agree. Just the perfect balance, wouldn't it? You got someone in there to the tackles and Scholes to spray the ball. It'd be perfect. Jason, thank you for the super chat. It says Neville, Japstan, Vidic, Irwin, the best back line ever. Would you agree with that?
100%.
It's decent, isn't it? You look now. Yeah.
Just makes you sick. Just makes you sick.
It's depressing. It's depressing to think about.
Yeah, it just makes you sick. And then looking at our lineup and how their poor performances, it's just sickening.
Yeah. I'm just going to say this is our round up, our last question. And it's a nice question. It's similar to the one that I was going to ask anyway. But Andrew, thank you for that. He says, if you could relive just one United moment again, what would it be and why? So Webby, as our guest, I'll let you start with that one and I'll let the girls give their answer as well.
Well, I'm going back to that semi-final in Turin. We drew 1-1 at Old Trafford against a great Juventus team full of Zidane, Conte, Davids, Rose, Inzaghi, and to be 2-0 down after 9 minutes and being stood in the stadium and then actually playing them off the park, and then obviously Keano scored, he got booked, Scholes, he come on. And people are going about the final because of the way it ended, but for all the Reds who was in Turin that night, that is the best moment of my Manchester United life. We're going into the backyard of an Italian giant and winning 3-2, 4-3 on aggregate, comfortably. That was a great team. And if I could turn back time, I'd have that team now. So for me, it was the semi-final for Juventus in 1999.
Love that. Emma, if you could relive one moment, what would it be?
It'd be Solskjaer's won it, wouldn't it, for me? Just because the memories that I have as a child with my dad and sister, it was just a magical moment as a little girl with a dad, watching the football, and just those words now, just watching it now, and Solskjaer's won it. It's just like goosebumps. If I could relive that moment again and again, I would.
It's hard to stop that, isn't it? This isn't the actual Van der Beek. If he is, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Paul Van der Beek is his brother. United versus Juventus, the same as you. Meg, if you could relive one United moment, what would it be?
I'm going to be boring and say exactly the same thing. Like Emma said, I remember exactly where I was. I was actually on holiday in Mallorca, and there's a picture on Twitter of me and my dad and my sister dressed head to toe in my United kit. I got my little Manchester United hat that I was holding as well. And I remember the goal going in and my dad going absolutely wild. Like we ran out of the pub onto the street in the middle of Mallorca, and my dad had got his top off and he was winging it round in the air. And it was just incredible. But it takes back to that moment. I'd love to relive it in that moment, exactly where I was. So that moment for me.
Yeah, special moment. And then Nick, if you could relive one moment.
I was gonna say, like at present now, I'd love to go back to any of them moments or any of the good times, because I would appreciate it so much more. Because I think, like, especially for our generation girls, we got used to so much success that we just, I don't know, we didn't see this coming. But obviously, I would love to go back to '99, but through my eyes now as an adult, because obviously I was really young then, so I remember it, but I remember more obviously from watching afterwards. So I would love to, as United are now, with these eyes, go back there. Do you know what I mean? I think, don't get me wrong, you appreciate it. It was unbelievable, but I think it'd be like that touch more special. And on the Scholes and Keno, because I didn't answer, I agree with Emma that I would love to have a Keane in the team right now, to have that leader that just takes no nonsense any day, all day of the week. But Paul Scholes, he scores goals, midfield maestro. He came out of retirement and he was still magic, so he edges it for me. So I'd get that in.
Love that, Scholesy. I mean, it's still an impossible choice, though, isn't it? It's hard, but that's why I put them together. I wanted to make you think. But Webby, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
No, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I've loved it. Get me on again soon, yeah?
Definitely, of course we will. Thank you, obviously, for taking the time out. I know it's late as well. And I believe that Jimenez has just scored for Wolves against City, so it's 2-1 now. So we'll see what happens there. But thank you for coming on. Obviously, go and follow his channel, Webby O'Neill. Some great content there. Webby O'Neill on Twitter and Instagram as well, isn't it, I believe?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, and obviously follow Webby as well. I have put the links in the description. Emma, if you want to shout out your channel and then let people know where they can find you as well.
My channel is That United Family, and you can also find me on Twitter, @EmmaEdgar_.
Love that. Meg, if you shout out where people can find you.
You can find me on @MeganCan with an underscore. And I just have one little final thing to say. And I just want to say to anybody that has a passion or an interest or a hobby, that you can follow that, and don't be scared to put your opinion out there, because it is your own opinion. And if you have that passion and you have that desire to do something, then don't be scared to do it, because we're all here. We have a passion for Manchester United, and we've come out and put our conversations, that basically what this is, online. And if you think that sitting there on a keyboard trying to belittle people, because let me tell you now, I lose no sleep over over trolls. If you try to belittle people, it really does show your true colours. It shows more about you than it does about me. But if you do have a passion, whether it's football or elsewhere in the world, follow your passion.
Yeah, exactly. Don't listen to trolls.
Find me here. For more motivational quotes.
She just Googled that before I went to her, definitely. She just Googled that quote.
She's there with a scroll.
I took notes earlier.
Yeah, can I just add to that? Can I just add to that? As someone whose mum brought me up on Manchester United, I just want to say to any girls, obviously men, love, I'm not discriminating, but to any girls that are watching this, young girls, women, do not let anybody tell you cannot do or be what you want to be. Do not be deceived or fooled by faces that we might look pretty, or believe you me, I know what I'm talking about, and I put myself on the line when some people don't. And do that, subscribe. But to any girls, to my daughters, to any females out there, please do not be deterred, because life is short. 2020 has taught us that life is short. So listen to our Meg and do whatever your heart desires. And believe you me, no matter what you do, people will judge you for it. Keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then Nick has done another great article, by the way. Go and read it now. Nick, let them know where they can find you, and so they can go and check
United she stands. Yeah, I don't just sit there with my face out. I actually have something there as well.
And she's
magic.
Yeah, she's brilliant. But guys, that's all that's left to say. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support as always. Have a lovely rest of your evening. I know it's late, but massive thank you to Webby. Go and check out his channel as well.
Webby.
Go and follow all the girls as well.
Thanks,
hit the like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you all very, very soon.